Sorry, Anya. Sorry, Chloe. Sorry, Lunar. Sorry, Ryu. Sorry, Mia. Sitting on the stone throne, Freya closed her eyes tightly and frowned. She supported her forehead with one hand, feeling uncomfortable with the list of words that echoed directly in her mind and the successive voices. Are you dreaming again? A man and a woman who had been guarding her watched her worriedly, but now it was very difficult to even respond to them. With the help of God transformation magic, the only secret, Freya and Horn shared the five senses. Horn is still in the state of activating magic and going into a coma, so Freya will also feel that a dream that she sees from time to time like this. The vision was still dark. But her sorry echoed in her ears. On Horn's side, when the goddess is emotional, an emotional countercurrent will occur, but this phenomenon cannot occur on Freya's side. Freya did not know Horn's thoughts, and only received the information that arrived. But now, it belongs to the noise that makes her particularly unhappy. If it is said that Horn followed the goddess's emotions and expressed these excuses in his dream, it can be said that Horn is Freya's mirror. She even took the remaining thoughts of the girl Freya should have killed and put them into broad daylight. What an ugly mirror! If even the dreams seen in the abyss of sleep are a collection of memories and emotions, then Freya cannot spy on Horn's dreams. She knew her view was blocked, it was dark and the girl was still sleeping. The touch of liquid on the cheek, possibly tears from the eyes. Freya didn't care about the war game that was already a foregone conclusion a long time ago. She suppressed the voice inside her body like a headache, and at this moment, Freya stood up abruptly. Her movements were so fast that she didn't look like a queen. The guard was surprised, but she opened her silver pupils wide. What is the problem? Tell Hayden to finish this quickly. The goddess's voice interrupted her questions. She looked at the family members who had stopped moving with sharp eyes and ordered them to do so. Give me an order to end this war game immediately. The main god had barely shouted like this before, and the two guards, a man and a woman, held their breath and trembled. The two ran out of the house of God, in unison and headed towards the commander. In the now empty temple, the goddess who was sitting on the throne had an anxious expression on her face for the first time. Finish as quickly as possible. Hayden turned around and asked them. No, that's right. Goddess Freya ordered it so. She suddenly said that she would kill the faction's coalition forces. Obviously, seeing Freya's sudden change, they themselves were panicked. In other words, this is truly the will of the goddess. There was a certain change of mood in her heart of hers, which made her have to issue a strict order from the gods. Hayden silently narrowed his eyes into the depths of his glasses. Understood. I will command the entire army. As for that stupid cat and other officers, Lasker and Remilia, you can go and convey it directly. If I order them to change course suddenly, those idiots will definitely have it. If you doubt, don't follow. Then, as the commander, he quickly began to take action, separating the individual instructions for the first-level adventurers and handing them over to these two. A man and a woman who came from Freya's side were unfazed by the fact that they had to run errands, and the two of them rushed towards the main battlefield where the faction and coalition forces were still resisting. Hayden silently watched his back, then raised his head. The entire army, begin attacking now. The base camp position is also advancing. Move quickly, this is the will of the goddess. You mean, strike forward? Another blacksmith was stabbed at high speed and Alan raised his eyebrows. Kratzo's demon sword fell onto the stone slab, and the panting female members rushed over and nodded. No, that's right, the entire army is going to attack. Isn't it to completely crush the enemy's combat power here? Now that it's changed, what does that worm mean? It's not Mr. Hayden, this is Lady Freya's instruction. She said the winner must be decided quickly. As expected, Alan resisted, and the women on the team played the answers they had prepared in advance. After listening, Alan, who had a murderous expression, also twisted his eyebrows in a surprised manner. What? Is that really true? Yes, Lasker and I heard it with our own ears. Lady Freya gave the order in a very serious tone to the faces of the group members who pondered his words. Lasker and Remilia were previously selected to be the guardians of the House of the Gods. Since they said that, it was undoubtedly Freya's will. Originally, they were not at the final base camp guarded by the main god, but the fact that they left could be considered an abnormal situation. If it was Hayden's instruction, as long as it was something he wasn't used to, Alan might have rejected it, but if it was Freya's wish, then it would be different. He resisted the urge to click his tongue and quickly glanced around the circle with sharp cat eyes. The battle is a foregone conclusion. The outcome has already been decided and the coalition forces will have no chance of winning no matter what they do. So even according to the divine will of the goddess, there is no problem in moving your hands a little faster. The first level adventurer who frowned and approved the base camp's decision. According to the worm's operation, move away from the enemy's right flank. Gather the idle guys. Free to come and go, the elusive Alan's attack almost wiped out the Hephaestus Familia, blacksmiths and the adventurers holding the demonic sword of Kratzo. The magic sword was no longer a threat. Alan stepped on the blacksmith's hand that fell to the ground and rolled towards the long sword-shaped magic sword in front of him, turning his toes towards the right wing of the coalition forces. Advancing, trampled by the attack of the tough warriors, and hit here by Hayden's cannonball, the vanguard shield dwarf mounted his weapon, thinking at least to prevent the first-level adventurers from cutting off the last breath of the coalition army. The armor full of cracks fell from his body, blood splashed everywhere, and he aimed at the catman and swung his warhammer. And Alan, whose expression remained unchanged, didn't even get a drop of blood scattered, let alone the warhammer. Moving silently, he passed by Dormal, shattering the weapon and the dwarf's iron body. Today's chariot has been ordered to turn its wheels, and will no longer care about a mere adventurer. Follow me, you lazy ones. Seeing that the army had gathered, the carriages began their relentless attack. Ibri did a decent broadcast for the first time today. He only screamed at the very beginning, when the magic sword started to fire. Afterwards, the Freya Familia's continued ravages left him silent. Faced with the miserable situation where the broadcast and comments were meaningless, he could only keep his mouth shut like the public. And now, he could finally scream. This also means that Freya Familia wants to take the initiative to end this duel. The troops led by the chariot of the goddess left the right flank of the faction's coalition forces and moved eastward in an instant. The objective is obvious, it is the base camp of the coalition forces with the door open, the ruins of the Eastern Territory. The large volume of the broadcast and the great change in the battle situation caused the people of Orario to gradually become noisy. After receiving instructions from Freya and Hayden, the tough warriors gathered on the north side of the main battlefield. Alan was at the forefront, flying single file toward the north side of the island at an attack speed that most people would find extremely fast. Lily watched the enemy shadows pass through her field of vision one after another, but there was nothing she could do. They ran a wide circle around the huge tomb in the center of the western side of the city island, breaking through the devastated right-wing troops. Harrowheim and other reservations in the transparent state went to Aisha and the other leftist troops who were still fighting to support, but now it has the opposite effect. Precisely grasping Lily's formation, Alan penetrated the weakened and vulnerable right wing in one fell swoop. There were no more cards in his hand to use, and no army to use. Lily could only watch the enemy advance from the roof of the tomb, and Alan and the others also ignored her as the commander and went to decide the winner. It happened in the blink of an eye, like a whirlwind. The invasion force led by the chariot easily crossed the central dividing line and invaded the eastern part of the city ruins. Enemy troops went to our own position. Hestia, run! This also meant destroying those main gods. Lily's scream spread throughout the orbs equipped for the main gods. Hestia and the others widened their eyes in astonishment. Wait! I want to surrender.